What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be working to answer the question, can you build out a cheap semi-auto Turkish clone style shotgun to be as good, or I guess just good enough, when compared to kind of the perfect budget-friendly semi-auto shotgun. The cheapest you should probably go if you're gonna run the gun stock and not worry about upgrading things, and that is the Beretta A300 Ultimate Patrol. All right, so before we really dive into the video, I want to give some context and thank some supporters of the channel. First off, DK Mags, they're a gun store. They sell anything you could really want as a gun guy. Go ahead, check them out. They have a fantastic online category. Website's in the description below, but also they are Minnesota based. So if you are local to them, go on in, tell them that I sent you, and they'll give you a discount off of nearly everything in the store. Even if you're not local, give them a call, check out their website. They ship and do all that kind of cool stuff, transfer to FFLs. So they'll be able to help you guys out as well. They actually did allow me to purchase this gun at a discount. So very thankful for them on supporting this video and many, many videos past. Also, YouTube's not my main thing. I'm a videographer. But my side gig is wedding videography. So Seoul Center Films, Seoul spelled like the Korean city. If you or anyone you know are getting married, go ahead, check me out. My website and portfolio, along with the contact page, is in the description below. So yeah, I would love to film a wedding for you guys. I, again, am Minnesota based, so I'm willing to travel. But Minnesota, Wisconsin, that's kind of my home base. And then, but yeah, if you guys are outside of there, I would love to discuss and see if Seoul Center Films would be a good fit to capture your wedding. Why are we talking about this? Basically, my interest for the home defense shotgun build, the semi-auto, not pump action route, has been, it was really peaked, mostly because I just looked at the capability of the shotgun. I mean, hands down, it is the most versatile firearm. You can shoot the widest array of loads through it. You can shoot buck, bird, breaching rounds, less lethal rounds like beanbag rounds. You can shoot slugs, which turns your shotgun into an absolute monster of a weapon. It's just so vastly versatile. And in an age where diversity matters, the shotgun really shines. So my attention was turned to the platform, and the gun that I owned, and obviously still do own, is the GForce GF1 Turkish semi-auto shotgun. I've had this gun for coming up on 4 years, and I never really liked it because back in the day, I put a tube extension on. This gives it a capacity of 7 or 8, depending on the length of the shells. And I had sized the spring wrong, so it came with a spring. I clipped it up, of course, and it wasn't enough spring to reliably feed rounds out of the tube, and so they would just get stuck halfway, and I'd have to manually go in there and pull the shell in to eject, to load it into the chamber, which wasn't ideal, and so I just didn't like shooting it. Plus, the ranges that are in my area only let you shoot slugs, so shooting slugs out of a shorter barreled shotgun. Not that this is a short barreled shotgun, but they're just really loud, really violent, and it sucks to shoot them inside in an indoor range. So never really spent much time on the gun, on the platform, despite having this. But then I started thinking, like, okay, is this something that I can turn into a weapon I can trust, or should I just spring for and do research on, like, what's the best budget-friendly semi-auto shotgun that you can trust your life to without spending, Benelli dollars on? And this is what I came across. Really an excellent value gun. It's essentially the cheaper version of the Beretta 1301 tactical, kind of that semi-auto shotgun that they offer. Okay, so despite the footage not necessarily reflecting this, I do have a similar amount of range time behind both guns as configured here. Obviously I have more rounds through this gun, but as built out, kind of the upgrades and the fixes and the mods done to it, I've shot about the same amount of rounds, somewhere around a few hundred rounds each. If you guys aren't that interested in the actual build and the breakdown of both guns, this one's not really a build. I just slapped a dot on it and a couple other things. But if I could really have my way, and maybe one day I will, I would go with the Beretta A300 Ultimate Patrol, hands down. I think it's a better a value, even though, as this is sitting right now, it's still cheaper than the Beretta by a decent margin. We're talking almost $500 cheaper. I do think that if you're going to have a home defense shotgun, semi-auto style, with the role and the purpose and the intent of it being, you know, protecting your life, I think you shouldn't necessarily cheap out. And even folks would probably argue that the A300 Ultimate Patrol is cheaping out on a shotgun, and especially, like, absolutely without a doubt, if you are not really into tinkering with your guns, learning about the systems, and kind of nerding out about them, getting your hands on them, definitely don't go this route. But because I was willing to do that, I was interested in doing that and seeing what I could get, because worst case scenario, I would still just have a shotgun that doesn't really work. But no, actually the opposite. And I've been really pleasantly surprised with this gun's performance. It has been extremely reliable, even in some cases more reliable than the A300 Ultimate Patrol now. And I'll talk about that a little bit later on in the video when we talk about the shooting experience. But this is what I'm ending up sticking with. And one day I might pony up and get the Beretta shotgun as well. But for now, this is what I'm sticking with. The Beretta now it lies in the hands of my friend who you saw shooting in this video. Okay, so we kind of got context out of the way, my story out of the way with these guns. So let's dive into what I did to the GeForce GF1 and what very little I've done to the Beretta as well. I guess going from tip to butt, I threw an improved cylinder choke on this, mostly because I knew I did want the option of shooting slugs. But going full cylinder as a choke would be very, very like wide, a very dispersed pattern. So having a little bit more focused of a pattern when shooting like bird loads. I actually did go pheasant hunting with this gun as configured like this. And I shot 3 birds. It was great. It was at a farm, so we went easy mode. But I was pleasantly surprised with the performance because my friends had, obviously, as you could probably assume, longer barreled shotguns, ones that weren't semi-auto, but even this 20-inch barrel with the improved cylinder did pretty good on birds, surprisingly. I have a Carlson's tube extension for the Benelli platform. This is their 8-rounder. I can't really get 8 rounds in here. Easily 7, but even with the 2 3/4-inch shells, I can't get 8 in there for some reason. Up here as the clamp, this is from Monstrum. They're a kind of an Amazon special. They didn't send this out to me. I purchased this. This is just their barrel clamp with a sling swivel on this end, non-locking, unfortunately. That always bugs me. And then a Picatinny slot on the other end where I have my Streamlight ProTac HLX Pro white light mounted up. This is kind of their new version with the jack tail, I think it's called, the jack cap or whatever, where it has an unpluggable pressure pad, which is great for modularity, for switching it on guns, for switching it on different setups. But on the shotgun, it has a little bit too much recoil to where this will get disconnected from the light. So for low round counts, for home defense, bedside stuff, I'm confident that I will have a functioning light. When I take it to the range and I do a lot of rounds, it's gonna come disconnected for sure. How I mounted the pressure pad is with gaffer's tape. I took off the handguard, slapped it on, and then wrapped the tape around the edge here and then up around into the handguard on the inside. And that secures it just fine. Next, inside, I did end up replacing the internal magazine spring, the tube spring, and I left about, I think a little bit over a foot of length to reliably feed shells all the way up until the last round. I have a match saver here for just putting a single round there so that when the action locks back, when I'm out of ammo, I can grab a dummy round here, actually. Okay, so I'm firing, boom, 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 empty gun, and then I can take that shell and throw it in for just a single last round, kind of the match saver, the life saver, and have that accessible. It's not the most secure thing in the world. Like I lost a round when I went pheasant hunting, although I really didn't need a match saver for pheasant hunting. So maybe if you're going into the woods, don't have the match saver around, or do, but realize you might lose it. I had to drill 2 holes into the handguard, and then I used holster or screw and washer stuff to mount it up to the handguard, and that's been working great. I did Loctite them, of course, and kind of witness marked them, but the paint is starting to wear off, so might have to redo that. Here I've got the Terran Tactical extended bolt release, and that is nice. The stock one's fine, but I just wanted to have something a little bit more beefy on there, especially paired with having the match saver. It just gives me more speed in performing that action of loading it and then slapping that bolt release, getting back online with the gun for a final shot. This is from GeForce themselves. This is their beefier charging handle. It's pretty cheap, but I would definitely say it is a welcomed upgrade, making it easier to actuate it with gloves from different angles. And you don't have to worry as much about not getting a good purchase on that. Here I've got a dovetail because the top rail is dovetail to Picatinny mount from UTG. And then on here I have a Siley Bull X Pro mounted up. I think I will move to closed emitter, but I do really like the multi-reticle, the circle. That has been really nice for the shotgun, just because I know that unless I'm shooting slugs, I know that the pattern is going to be a little bit wider than like 2 MOA. It kind of allows me for quicker sight on target acquisition, and I'm a little bit faster, especially like with birds. It's a little bit faster, a little bit quicker and easier to get the gun pointed at where it needs to go, and then I have confidence that it's going to hit whatever is kind of within that circle. I did drop the gun in the snow trying to put a bird in like a back pouch, and the emitter got completely just wiped with the snow. I tried to blow it out, but then the remaining water just kind of washed out the dot. So would like to move to a closed emitter for this gun. Something like the Romeo 5 maybe, but I do value having the multi-reticle option, so I might have to do some searching. What else we got here? Velcro. Unlike the Beretta, Velcro did not come with the GeForce, so I just took a industrial piece, cut out a slot here for that trigger pin, and then kind of formed it because Beretta's Velcro is laser cut, which is really nice. It gives you access to the pins, and it also just stays in line with the receiver. So it's aesthetically pleasing, and it's of a quality that makes you feel good about it. So I'm gonna put that back on. Side saddles I just got from Amazon. Nothing fancy here, nothing expensive. And then lastly on this gun is the Magpul SGA stock. And this is the Mossberg one. I did have to do some modifications to get it to fit to my shotgun. Not a whole ton, I just took a drill bit. I think a 1/2 inch drill bit, and then drilled a hole into the plastic of the stock to get it to fit up. That was pretty much all I had to do. As you can see here, the shotgun hangs over, so you can tell it's not made for this shotgun, but I don't really care because I like the length of pull. Before, the length of pull on the stock of the GeForce gun was such that it would be really hard to manipulate it and to get it to break down the gun into low ready or break it down into high ready, just because I had a lot more room I had to clear and I had to really punch out. But now with a really short length of pull, I don't have any spacers on, although it came with, I think, 3 spacers. This is the shortest length of pull you can get, and that allows me to more quickly and confidently maneuver the gun in tighter quarters, which is optimal for home defense and for kind of weaving around different walls and corners and positions. The stock is the only thing that I like about this shotgun more than the Beretta right here. So now let's move on to the Beretta. And this gun functions perfectly reliably now. It feeds excellently, ejects better than the Beretta, surprisingly, and we can get to that. Boom. So I have Fiocchi home defense, the white shell buckshot. I bought like a few hundred rounds of those, and they didn't eject well out of the Beretta at all. It would eject some, but not most. It was like something like a 60 to 70% failure to eject rate on that specific buckshot, but all of the other rounds that we shot, bird, even the Fiocchi blue shell home defense, it's the same box, just a different color shell that I bought some time ago. Those ejected perfectly fine. So that was really puzzling. Whew. You would really think that the ejector on the Beretta is of a quality that's higher than GeForce. So definitely before you run home defense ammo in your shotgun, make sure to actually, like, before you just load up the tube and let it sit by your bedstand, absolutely make sure that you take the gun out, that you get rounds through it, and that you know how it's going to perform when the time comes, if you ever need, God forbid, to pull your shotgun on a home intruder. What we did to the Beretta, I further torqued it down the barrel clamp here because according to Garantham and other users, this can walk loose after 5-ish 100 rounds. So I torqued it to 30 inch-pounds, called it a day. I took fine grit sandpaper and just did a few passes all over this texture here and here because it's genuinely sharp. Like, it's a good problem to have. I'd rather have too much texture that I can then kind of cut down and tailor to what feels good to me, rather than needing more texture. It's kind of a pain in the butt to stipple something this big. Fitment is much better on the Beretta. You can see how the handguard mates up to the receiver here. There is no space whatsoever in between how it mates up. But if you look here, this line, this is space. Like, this is space between where the handguard is supposed to butt up to the receiver. And I guess it's better on this side. So literally just on this one side, it's like there's a little bit of room. Don't love that. Okay, ironically, so looking at the charging handle as well as the bolt release for the Beretta, just bone stock out of the box, both of these are better than the ones that I paid money to upgrade to. So the Beretta's charging handle is longer as well as wider at the end, so it's easier to pull that back. And then the bolt release is very thick and extended out. I would say the Terran Tactical one is like 2/3 the size of this one. The Beretta's bolt release even kind of angles up and away from the gun, making it even easier to hit that. One thing that I do love is that it comes with Picatinny, so it's low profile-y mounted. It also comes with a rear sight and a fiber optic front, which mine doesn't. One thing I forgot to mention on the GeForce is I took nail polish, nail paint, and I just put a pink dot on the front bead to give it some contrast, but I don't have a rear sight, so that's kind of butt cheeks. This one, obviously, it came with a full iron sight setup, and then giving you a low profile mounted, because my riser here, the UTG one, it's pretty high. So my height over bore is greater than that of the Beretta, which is not necessarily ideal, especially if you're trying to get a good cheek weld on your stock. Even the finish on the receiver here, on the barrel too, the coating, just feels better. It feels more high quality. It honestly feels like a shotgun that's more expensive than $1,000, maybe, okay, $1,150, whatever. It is easier to reload, the Beretta. The lifter is smoother, so it's easier to push that down and get rounds into the tube than the GeForce one. But neither shotgun is like difficult to load by any means. Triggers, actually, I did want to talk about that. So besides the stock, I lied. The trigger is the only other thing on the GeForce gun that I like better than the Beretta. It's lighter. Okay, here we are. I'm gonna start the pull. Yeah, it's really light. Reset is very positive, and then you're back on that trigger right away. I don't remember having a reset, an issue with the Beretta's reset, but I would say that the weight is like 30 to 40% heavier, and then the reset is also good. It's very positive. It definitely forces your finger forward. Yeah, both guns reset well. I just like the pull weight better because it's lighter on the GeForce. Now, when doing like a build drill, going as fast as I couldn't tell a difference in speed. I wasn't able to run one gun faster than the other. Yeah, so there you have it. I did weigh these guns. The Beretta comes in, both guns empty, at about 1.5 pounds lighter than the GeForce. And so that is definitely a big win, because even though this is a smaller compact shotgun and package, I was getting fatigued relatively quickly when I was out hunting, trudging through knee-high snow. Now, obviously, fitness is more important than saving weight on your guns, but if you can have both, I think that would absolutely be ideal, and you can really feel the weight difference when you pick up both guns. It feels greater than 1.5 pounds. As pictured here, if you subtract the cost of the red dot and the light, because this gun has a red dot, this gun doesn't have a light, but it probably should and will. I'm gonna have to get on my buddy to put a light on his gun. Everything else though, all the other upgrades here, totals this gun out, including the cost of the firearm, to be $680-ish. I did get a discount from the gun store, but minus the red dot, you're going to be paying about $11.50 for the A300 Ultimate Patrol. Maybe cheaper if you can find it used, or sometimes Beretta does sales and promos. So we're not talking nothing. We're talking almost half the cost. So we're talking like saving a little bit under half if you go with an upgraded Turkish clone as opposed to the A300. So for me, that was worth it for the time being. I can absolutely see myself, like I said before, going to this gun in the future, or who knows, maybe I'll want a bird gun or a slug gun for deers. I don't know. I'm definitely going to be getting more shotguns in the future, but just because of finances and where we're at currently, this made the most sense for me to stick with for the time being. I know that I can trust my life to it. I know it's going to go off. The only reason why I was hesitant before was absolutely user error in fitting the tube spring properly. So that kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. It made me weary of it, but then I realized it was my fault, and now I can trust the platform. I'm curious to hear what you guys have gone, what route you've decided to go if you are in a similar, I guess, predicament, or just asking the same question as I did. Are you going to go with something a little bit more expensive, but you just buy it and it's going to run? Maybe you throw a dot on it. You should probably throw a light on it. Side saddle, match saver, whatever you want. Additional capability accessories without having to worry about overhauling the recoil system or tuning the lifting gate, which I didn't talk about on this gun. I took a Dremel to my lifting gate because it was kind of difficult to load quickly. My finger would get stuck in there. Just doing all this kind of chicken shit little things to get it customized and tuned. This doesn't really need any of that. Or do you really want to get into the weeds with your shotgun, get familiar with it, take it apart a million times while fitting things and trying to get exactly what you want out of it? It's going to take you some time. It's going to take you some frustration, maybe messing up some parts. I've messed up a couple springs here, but I've landed in a place where I'm confident with it. If you find this video helpful, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, give it a like. Throw any questions or concerns or comments you have down in the section below. And yeah, hopefully we have some more shotgun content on the channel, but that's not necessarily my specialty, my bread and butter here. So it's fun to visit different platforms and stuff like this, and hopefully we can keep the conversation going in the future. Stay safe out there, guys. God bless you, and remember to spend and save responsibly.